All right. There we go. What is going on, everybody? Hopefully, you're doing absolutely amazing. Happy Sunday. Happy almost New Year. Can't listen to this live, but wanted to jump in and say thank you so much for everything, Brian. Your content so refreshing and easy to digest. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Trying to just bring a refreshing light. I think a lot of people that are um, not only just entrepreneurial, but thought leaders. And I just consider a thought leader being a person that could share information simply and effectively and hopefully just bring a refreshing energy, like you said. And a lot of people that I know personally that know a lot and are doing good things in the world just don't happen to share enough, right? Because we're so oversaturated by this, lifestyle marketing and just, buy my thing, buy my thing, buy my thing, buy my thing. And it's just like, hey, like maybe we don't know each other, but it may seem like we know each other, right? But thank y'all so much for coming in here. So let me know in the chat. I'm watching the chat if you are here live. And if you could just tune in, just let me know who's here live. If you can just put a one, if you can acknowledge myself. If you're watching on the TV, I understand you can't maybe really comment. But if you can, maybe just tune into your phone and interact. That would help out a lot. But still going to provide some value here on this Sunday. I think the holidays have been hopefully refreshing for people and a breath of fresh air, whether you had a good time with family or you didn't. I'm not sure. Maybe you spent time with yourself just reflecting, but I don't know if it's just you or me, but it just seemingly seems like folks disconnected. It was just, I don't know about you. You can maybe agree with me or not, but 2024 and also I would consider 2023 a very interesting years, right? Very interesting years. And maybe it's been an interesting year in a good way, a challenging way, a reflective way, a pivot way. I'm not sure, but I just wanted to acknowledge that you're not alone if that is you, right? So my objective, go ahead and I know some of you have been waiting for a minute, so hopefully you like the new overlay just to, I'm present, I'm here. But my objective today and this evening for you, and if you're rewatching this, is to number one, see you as a human being, right? See you as someone that is not just here to learn stocks or the market or trading or whatnot, right? This is a holistic community, and I intend to make it such, right? So if you're here and you're like, man, my mind's on my family, my mind's on my loved one that's in the hospital, my mind's on my own health, my mind's on my finances, my mind's on my business, my mind's on my career, right? If that is you, you're in the right place, right? And I know a lot of people don't feel seen because you're constantly marketed to and thrown things to, and people are trying to save you, right? You don't need to be saved. You're a grown adult. We're here to collaborate, connect. And if there is a possibility for you need a little bit of support, I don't like to say help, support, then there's avenues and pathways for you to get there, right? And whether it's from through myself or you're watching someone else on these public platforms and you decide to, get support from them, right? Just make sure you're in community. Make sure you're somewhere where, man, like I feel invigorated each day, right? It's tough. It's tough out here trying to do life alone. It's tough to try to figure out stuff alone because we're in our heads, right? And we got so many other things going on. So I'm not sure if I want to keep this name. I'm not sure if I want to keep, stock sermon Sundays or whatnot. I'm not going to preach to you. I welcome any and everybody, all religions, all creeds, all colors, all genders, right? This is a holistic place, right? It's just a public platform. So I just decided to throw that name out there. And if it resonates and it sticks, cool. But I'm looking to make these Sunday and maybe even I do more live streams for y'all and make them life, business, more personal things of that nature. So that's first objective. Second objective is for us to go through our 2025 game plan. Right? I'm going to go through a couple of stocks. I'm going to give you an overview of what I see as the market breadth right now, and I'm going to look over also maybe give you a little bit of insight in what I've been putting inside of Leverage University, which is some 2025 trades or stock predictions that I could see at least minimally doubling and minimally 50% on the upside, on the like complete upside, 100%, essentially a double up as we call it, right? So if it's $10, I can see it going to 15. If it's $10, I can easily see it going to 20, right? So if you put the amount of number that you see in there, and this is just talking about equity, like buying shares. I'll get to some of the trades and the leaps options and things of that nature. So if you have questions in our live stream, That's what I'm here live for, instead of you just watching a recorded video. Put your questions in the chat. I'll be happy to answer some questions inside of the chat. And there may be a little bit of a special offer, a 24-hour offer for coming inside of our Leverage University Discord. All right, if you're not already in. All right. Can I get a 1 if those are available to comment if you're here? I would love to hear those that are here and just say, hey, I'm here, Brian. I see Skater Real, Neil. I know he can't stay. Awesome, 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 awesome. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Let's jump into it. Let's jump into it. All righty. So I need a 2020. Don't we all, man? Don't we all? I have so many. I have so much FOMO on not getting more. So much FOMO of not getting more. Another thing, because I know people watch typically the first part of a live stream as well, especially for my people in their recordings. I'm looking to take the futures market in 2025 a lot more seriously. So if you're interested or you're curious about the futures market, I'm going to be a little bit more open, maybe doing some live trading on the futures market just because it's open a lot more for people around the world. And I think it'd be doing justice for anyone on this YouTube platform. So I'm going to be taking you along the journey of really taking the combine seriously. So I'm going to be doing through a prop firm, being transparent, and then taking the combine challenge and then moving into a funded account and then starting taking payouts and document that journey a little bit more. So I'll let you know when that starts. I'll give a heads up, but want to give that idea as well. Okay. Hey, Shalitha, what's going on? What's going on? I'm definitely interested in the futures market. Lovely, lovely, lovely. We already know. We are on the same page. We're on the same page. I've got a couple of videos as well on the horizon. People have been asking me about support and resistance. So I do take those seriously. If you're inside of Leverage University or you happen to be on a live stream, I do check the comments. So if you're interested in like, hey, Brian, I'd love to see a video or, a training or whatever, or, anything that could help me out about support and resistance, right? I'm very big on entries and exits because you can take the same trade or you can enter just the same equity stock or play or whatever you want to call it as myself. And I may say, hey, I'm up 50%. And you're like, how is he up 50%? Like, I'm only up 5, right? It's because you may have gotten into Palantir at $40, $50 versus some of us may have gotten in at $14 to $18, right? So entries and exits are very important. I'll show you on the charts how to document that. It's not just for trading options or futures. It's also for entering the best average cost for a lot of the equity share positions that you're looking to get into. All right, cool. With all that being yapping said, thank y'all so much for listening to that. And we'll jump right into it. All right, so let me share my screen. Let me make sure everything's good here. All right, all right. Cool. We are good. All right, put a 1 in the chat. If everyone can see my screen, you should be able to. Full screen. Should be able to. Hopefully I didn't move it around too much where it's out of whack here. Usually it shows something here. So still getting really used to this new platform here, but checking the chat. Can y'all see? Can everyone see screen? Share screen? Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Tabitha. Can y'all see the share screen on me? I see a black screen. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. See a black screen. All righty. All right, there we go. Should be able to see it now. All right. Cool. So this is for anybody that's new, okay? I like to get this out of the way as well. Here's our Leverage University. We're moving everything over into our WOP platform. A lot of people are familiar with the WOP platform, WHOP. I will be bringing back up brianmcellery.com so people can see like the testimonials, my professional presence, things of that nature, and want to learn more about myself and my 8 years of entrepreneurial background and what I've done thus far. But you're more than welcome to join Leverage University through the links that'll be down in the description or in my Instagram bio if you're messing around on your phone. And this is just for 24 hours, but I am doing a New Year 25 discount code. Okay. I like to say reduced price. I don't like to discount anything that I do. I personally think that is more than enough value, but that gives 25, I think 25%. You can type it in and see what it does. But new year, all one word, 25. Okay. That's for Leverage University. Okay. So we'd love to have you inside. If you're already in there and you want to talk further about a little bit different things, maybe our mentorship or how to get a little bit more closely in consult with myself, I'd love to have you, have a conversation about that. Okay. So this is only for 24 hours. I'm sorry for anyone that is, not here for the live stream, but I will be doing little specials like this periodically on these live streams. So make sure you're tuned in for those, and it'll be giveaways. Sometimes it'll be discount codes, whatever it might be. All right, cool. Let's jump into kind of the instead of doing all the, in my case, I think the boring SPY, QQQ, all that kind of stuff. Let's flip it up this time. Let's flip it up this time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into XRP. Okay. I'm going to jump into a little bit of crypto. And if you saw the thumbnail, a lot of people may have clicked on because of the XRP thumbnail. All right. The XRP thumbnail is I've been getting questions and questions and questions, and there's been so many videos, and I don't want to just be another video. So I'm going to give my perspective from a very simplistic standpoint. You can do your own due diligence on like what the technology does, how it ties into actual fiat currency, i.e. the US dollar, a lot of financial institutions being able to utilize XRP in the future as a real life tool, right? As a financial currency exchange. So I want to make sure that everyone understands as a disclosure, this is not financial advice. So please do your own due diligence. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you levels on where I see XRP going. People have these crazy, like, $100 price targets, things like that. I personally don't like to invest that way. I like to invest in realistic targets and allow myself to just take it time by time by time, level by level by level. Okay. I personally believe that crypto does have a potential, and I'll show you on Bitcoin, to pull back even more back to that potential, maybe even $75,000, $76,000 range. However, the meme coins or altcoins, as you have heard them say, these have the potential to, double up, triple up, quadruple up, and move even more rapidly than our stable coins, meaning Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and you may even include XRP in this as it continues to, prove itself, right? And there's others, obviously Cardano and other things like that. But is that cool for everybody? Make sure I'm talking crazy. I see it now. Perfect. Fixed. Awesome. All right. So let's look at XRP. Okay. And this is, again, the technical analysis, meaning the charts. Okay. The charts will allow you to remove a little bit of emotion from what you think the stock might do. So we analyze it from fundamental basis, meaning does it have a use case, right? You can go on their website, you can do research and say, oh, it's a currency exchange. It allows people to exchange currency easier. It's very simple, similar to Bitcoin, things of that nature, right? It's a blockchain. Okay. So we have XRP here, and I want to look at it on a weekly time frame. So let's go to 1 week, and here's the XRP chart. Okay. So anytime you see these spikes, the stock or the crypto or whatever asset you're trading likes to return and try to retest, especially if there's solid stocks, indexes, or in this case, cryptocurrencies. Okay. They like to return and try to retest where they've been. Okay. It's like going back home, essentially. So do you see how it consolidated here in 2017 around, about 20 cents or so? Let's just round about 20 cents. If you look over to my right where I'm hovering, okay, it popped crazy to $3. So a lot of people made a lot of money by just being positioned in XRP because it had a huge use case. Then crypto kind of died off, right? Died off a little bit, pulled back pretty heavily after the first Bitcoin halving run, consolidated. Next halving run ripped right back and kind of went halfway here. Okay. The only reason when they went halfway is because they were going through some legal battles and they were having Gary Gensler, the SEC chairman, on their backs, on their necks. Okay. So they had a lot of negative news. So a lot of people were being, in this case, the technicals are telling me people were just being a little bit more cautious, taking profits a little bit more early because of that pressure on their back. You can see here, again, if I'm drawing these are all technically consolidation, pullback, bull flags, pop out. Consolidation took a little bit longer. Here it is again, right there, popped out, right there. See how it breaks trend and it starts changing from lower highs to higher lows, okay? That's all we're looking for on the charts is where's the trend change and we can ride that momentum. Here it is again. As it's pulling back, where's it pulling back to? Right to a previous high, okay? So if I, like that, previous high becomes support. Change direction, pops back up. It's trying to retest the high. So you can never predict necessarily how far it's going to go, but you're trying to get it as deep as possible on the pullback, right? So that's what I'm looking for a lot of times is the deepest possible pullback that I can. Right now, you see how much more it has popped this time. Okay, it has popped a lot more, and you can see how big this pop is because of the market breadth from Trump, from Elon, from just a lot more deregulation, right? More of an open market with crypto. So we're having that as why this is popping a little bit more than this pop. So it looks very similar to the first pop, right? And it almost retested the overall high. So this isn't even done yet, right? This move is not even done in my opinion. Now you might be like, Brian, what if third time's a charm? Like pop 1, pop 2, pop 3? Well, what if it pulls all the way back like this? Yeah, it's a possibility. However, we have a little bit different economy that's coming into play potentially the next 4 years, right? So what I'm looking at, here's the levels, right? Here's the levels. Does everyone understand? Can I get a 2 in the chat if everyone understands why I went over the market breadth? Like how you look at this differently each and every season. It's like, oh, what if it pulls all the way back? And then like I get all the way in, right? You have to look at, the use case, just like Palantir. Like how many people were talking about Palantir 10 years ago, 5 years ago, right? And it's like, hey, hold on to Palantir, hold on to Palantir, hold on to Palantir, because it was still a solid company. It was just trying to get to profitability and get to a use case to where it could prove itself, right? Very similar to Bitcoin back in, $5, $100, $1,000 even. Some of us remember. Is trying to like get into the hands of people that are like, oh, right? So here we go. I'm looking at a couple levels. Anywhere right underneath $2, I like as a buy zone if you're not already in. Okay. I personally got around a 50 cent. Okay. There's a lot of people that maybe be re-listening to this that have, underneath $1. I was also signaling inside of our university, inside of our Discord, right around $1. When it broke $1, how many of y'all remember I told you, hey, I think you can go look at my last video, okay, on XRP. So right around $1. So now, personally, if it pulls back to $1, load up zone. Okay. However, I think it's going to get bought up so quickly because people are looking for those pullback levels. So right here, do you see why it stopped and got bought up right at this 196? Okay. And now it's just kind of consolidating here. It's just like resting, just sitting, waiting for something to happen. So this is a time that you can be positioned in just like maybe dollar cost average. Anytime it gets, a little bit on the low 2 side, put a little bit in, that's cool. Okay. My ultimate target, okay, is I'm just looking at $5. Okay. So from 2 to 5 will double your money. That's how I like to think about it. Anything that I'm looking at as equity or shares, I'm simply looking at a double up. Okay. Maybe even 50%. Okay. So if it goes from $2 to $4, you're looking roughly around that 50% range, right? So that is how I'm looking at XRP from right now, and then just holding runners or holding your position longer and saying, okay, what does it do at 5? Because guess what? That is what, in my opinion, a smart investor does. Because when you start getting greedy in the markets, look at right here. How many people were probably up significantly and said, man, I didn't even consider that XRP ran, roughly, you're talking about, what is that? 1,000+%. So why wouldn't you take profits, or why wouldn't you consider taking some off the table? So that's why I like to have price targets that I can consider maybe trimming some profits, maybe 10%, 20%, whatever, and reassess. Are they on the right track? Does it still look good? Is Bitcoin at all-time highs? Does it have a possibility to pull back even deeper? Right? So price targets, take note of this, right around 150, okay? And then right below $2. So right now it's sitting right at $2.10. I think this is great, right? Because if it goes to 4, you double your money, right? So if you have $1,000 and it goes to 4, cool, you made $1,000. If you have $10,000, it goes to 4, cool, you made 10 grand. That's how to look at it. If it goes even further, great, you have a home run, you have a grand slam. But just take it from level to level. Are we good? Put a 3 in the chat if we're good. Let me check on everybody. 3 in the chat, 3 in the chat. We good? Does that help? All right. I think we're good. All right. So those are my price targets for XRP. Okay. I think a lot of times the questions that I get, people are looking way too far ahead. Where do you think XRP is going? Well, first, it's got to retest here and get above, pretty much $3 and start mounting above 3 first. So let's just focus on $3 first, right? Let's just be realistic here. 5, cool, because you have to consider the market cap that it takes. So if Bitcoin has a massive market cap, you're talking about, people are talking about $100, $200, $300, $400, like for XRP. I'm like, do you know how big of a market cap that is? Right? Just go look it up. So that is why you try to take things like this from level to level. It reminds me very much of a Solana in a sense. When I remember when Solana got, don't even remind me. If you've been in Leverage University for at least the last 2 to 3 years, if you're rewatching this or you're here live, you know. Okay, if you know, you know. Right? Solana was our bread and butter inside of Leverage. I had 1,000 Solana. Okay, just throwing a broad number out there, but it was a lot of Solana, and Solana pulled back pretty heavily. I ended up selling for a profit, but yeah, I should have been picking up more. Okay, Solana went all the way down to $7 and then ran to 250. So that is what people are considering a lot of times what XRP could be and beyond. All right, but you can't consider that until it starts breaking levels. Okay, I consider double digits where that thing starts to like really, really take off. So if XRP gets above 10, that's when it's going to start hitting some headlines. It's going to start hitting some people's wallets. People are going to start FOMOing in, and you're going to start seeing that retail squeeze and that altcoin squeeze up. But for right now, just focus on 5. Okay, in my opinion. All right. So those are my levels to answer the questions on XRP. Now let's jump into Bitcoin a little bit. Okay. Why do I want to jump into Bitcoin is because it is the granddaddy. It is the stable coin. It is the leader of the cryptocurrency movement. And I just want to make sure that people understand that the movement of Bitcoin is going to be indicative in a sense of what the other cryptocurrency is going to be doing. Okay. So you have to know the levels on Bitcoin on where it potentially can go. Okay. So when I said 75, 76, that's never coming back there. Okay, that's fine. If it doesn't, I'm cool with it. Right. But you cannot consider that, this is a different crypto run here. Right. And then also we have this move from the first move here back in 2021, it hit 65. People were like, oh, it's going 100 there. And it pulled back heavy and then ran as high as it can go to create a new higher high, right? A new all-time high. So you're looking at this bull move here, and it has not retested. It doesn't always have to, but from a technical standpoint, you're typically looking at a retest that looks like that. Typically, okay? We were pretty spot on inside of leverage around this cup and handle movement, right? This cup and handle movement. I can go all the way back just for those that are maybe rewatching, like, oh, where did he put that? Okay. So we have, historical context of our Bitcoin channel here all the way back. We're giving from May 1st. Okay. You see here right at roughly around 57,000. I was marking off this. See where it was going to pull back to around 50. Okay. Public participation, distribution. There we go. So we're just documenting these technical levels and what it's doing at those technical levels. Even pulled this up here where every time we have a halving, it runs, it makes the next leg up, and it typically tries to pull back, very similar to 2016. Okay, you see how 2016 ran, and then it retested that high, which is right around that $780. So it ran to 1,100, pulled back to 780. So you have to take the emotion out of it of not FOMOing into a lot of these things and saying, okay, I'll dollar cost average, and then if I get that opportunity, I'll load up. Okay, you just don't want to be pressured on, in my opinion, just being, especially if you're new or you don't want to watch something, you don't want to be stressing about it. It's just putting on DCA, meaning recurring investment. So if you have a Robinhood, if you have Fidelity, whatever, if you have obviously your Coinbase, anywhere you can buy crypto or associated ETFs of crypto, BITO, things of that nature. If you don't want to worry about it, put on $5, $10, whatever recurring investment per week, and just set it and forget it, and put an alert on this. This shocked people. Okay. That's why I like to keep things simple. This shocked people when I told people on my Instagram live that you can put an alert and put an automatic buy at a level. They're like, what? You can do that? I was like, yes. So you can tell your brokerage that if, just say, you can't buy Bitcoin on your JP Morgan or whatnot, but Robinhood, yeah, you could, right? Coinbase, whatever. You can tell your Coinbase, you can tell your Robinhood that if Bitcoin pulls back to 76,000 or anywhere in the vicinity, maybe 80,000, so you don't miss it, buy up $1,000 worth. You can put a limit order in for that, right? And then you can also have the recurring investment going where it's just $5 a day or $5 a week. You get my drift. So once you chart things and you have your levels, that's why I'm such an advocate of the technicals, because once you have your levels, you know where your best buy zone opportunities are, and then you can just set it and forget it, right? Instead of like checking every day, stressing about where it is, right? So XRP, great. Just set an alert. If it drops below 2, cool. Let me jump into my brokerage, buy $100 worth, buy $1,000 worth, whatever. Okay, it's in my buy zone. Cool. You should not be stressing about where these things are opening up your brokerage every single day. Okay. Cool. All right. So Bitcoin, if it holds up 91,000, okay, 91,000 is our support right now. Okay. So 91,000, you see how many buyers are stepping up at 91,000 right here, 91,000, 91,000, 91,000. However, right, it's getting pressured. Okay. It's getting pressured, meaning that we have a lot of selling pressure coming off of 108 and continuously pulling down, or people just trimming their profits. I don't even consider this a massive sell, okay? Because we can do one of two things. We can rip all the way back up, right? Like that, and it's just a big bull flag, and we try to go to 120, 130. That is a possibility, right? Or we could pull back here, and now you got a better buying opportunity. So either way, you have these support zones where you're a little bit more like, I would love it at 75, but do I want to load up at 91? Maybe, depends on your investment strategy and how long you're trying to hold it and what your return is, what kind of return you want, right? Are you comfortable if you buy some at 93 or 91 or whatever, and it pulls all the way back down to 75? If you're not comfortable with that, DCA until you're comfortable. right? So just want to mention that because I see that a lot. I mean, I think everyone does it because your risk tolerance is different for everybody, right? That's why people, I think, just stress like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's down like today, and then it's up tomorrow, then it's going here, then it's going there. It's like you shouldn't be worried about the minute movements, right? Have your levels. And I think that's really in 2025 where the charting, and I'm going to be putting up more charting videos, the technical analysis is going to help people feel more at ease, right? Where the levels are, how the movement is supposed to be going. Cool. Let me check on the chat. Everybody good? All right, cool. We're still good. All right. Let's keep it rolling. If there's any questions in the chat, please put them in there. I'm going to take a break just a second and answer some questions, but let's keep it rolling here. All right. Let me jump into some of my like 2025 moves because I think that's what everyone's here for. Like, Brian, what can I set and forget? What can I enter into the new year? It's just like a breath of fresh air. Like Neo said earlier, man, I need another Palantir move, things like that. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a little bit of insight into our trading floor inside of Leverage University. I'm not going to give you the whole, game necessarily, but I'll give you a couple of free plays just for being and giving of your time. Okay. And you can take your own look into it. The benefit about being inside of our Discord is I'm more active in answering questions. I'm more active in engaging with the community. I can't really do it here on live. I can't answer your questions. Where should I get in, Brian? What you have to, I can give you the play and you can go to either run it or do your own due diligence, right? So trading floor, we have our shares and leaps conversation. Okay. And you see some of these names here that I have. Okay. And these are just a few. Okay. These are just a few. Now, I'm going to do one that's a little bit more kind of ruffling feathers because everyone's been asking, like, man, is EV going to pop back again? Like Rivian, Lucid, like, what about these things that are like underneath $20, Brian? Like Palantirs, Ionics, like, how'd you know about these things necessarily? Okay, so let me give you a little 2 cents again, just for social proof. Okay, and I already did it. You can look back at one of the videos 10 months ago. Okay, we signaled Ionic. Okay, all the way back here. Okay, you see it goes all the way back to like 2022. Okay, so I've been running this Discord for a while. Okay, we got in Robinhood Leaps last year. There's my Ionic Leaps. Okay, there is the social proof 226.24. Palantir, which we were already in at like $14 to $18. Okay, have it all the way back up here. I'm not going to go all the way back up there. And then there's Ionic. So guess what? Everyone's messaging people about now is, oh man, did you see all these quantum computing RGTI? Or did you see QBTS? Did you see all these crazy things going from $2 to $20? Yes, right? Why? This isn't me saying that I know everything. I'm just saying that this is the time that you put in to try to look at first what sectors are going to be relevant or what sectors have been beaten down, and then go into the company and say, wow, like this company's partnering with this person, this person, this person, this person. Like, what in the world is going on here? Why are they so beaten down? Those are the companies to pay attention to, because then you can look at getting in them early when no one's talking about it. When no one was talking about crypto 2 years ago in 2022, oh man, crypto, NFTs, all those things are done, right? I lost so much money. See what I'm saying? So the investor starts to look at things that people aren't talking about. So if I go to Rivian, let's look at the chart. Okay, and there's still some questions about Rivian, but if I look at it from a technical perspective, okay, there's a couple of things here. And the reason why I like it too is because I can simply look at it as a potential double up. Okay, that means it's sitting at $13 now. Can it go to 25? Can it go to 30? That's all I want to look at it for now. Okay, because it's still early and it's got to prove itself a little bit more. Okay, so what this is, okay, first I look at the sector and I'll go into the financials and I'll look at Rivian and say, okay, they are projected to have a pretty good Q4, right? Which is now, which will be reported in Q1 when their earnings come up. Okay. So a couple of things I'm looking at, if I take the emotion out, if I take, man, it's a beaten down company, they aren't doing anything, whatever. Okay. They're trying to get to profitability. And when a company starts to head towards profitability, the chart starts to follow. Okay. So a couple of things I'm looking at here from a chart perspective is that they are significantly oversold over dramatized from the 180 price target that it once was. Okay. Now, am I even looking at 180? No, not yet. Okay. Another thing I'm looking at is that it started to kind of find a little bit of a bottom here. Do you see this kind of falling, 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 falling? Let me take off some of these moving averages so it's a little bit cleaner. It's falling, it's falling, it's falling. This is what we call a falling wedge. Okay. A falling wedge starts to consolidate, forming lower highs. And then finally, it starts to kind of find a true bottom here. Do you see where at about $10 roughly, we just look at this $10 mark. This is called a double bottom right here, which was back in April of this year. And then right around $9, $10 again this fall. Okay. And it's popped off of both of those levels. So there's still buyers here ready to buy. Okay. Now, here are two levels for Rivian that I'm looking at to confirm a little bit more. One, if it can get above $15 confidently. Why? Because there's 15 right there. And when it went to 15, it went all the way back to about 25. Okay. I also see, number two, there's a gap that needs to be filled up here. Okay. Gaps, as we talked about, typically get filled within a period of time. Right. Another thing is that if it breaks above this previous high of about 1890, maybe if I just put it at 18, okay, that candle close right there, okay, this yellow line, that would confirm it even more. Because if it breaks back above here, above this yellow line, now it is completely come out of the falling wedge, and now it's ready to change direction like that, okay? So I know I'm going to have viewers on here that are going to be fairly new and re-listening to this. So let me show you, because people are visual. Like, Brian, can you show me an example of how that looks on another stock? Yes, I can. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like on Ionic. Why I did the same thing on Ionic. Look at Ionic here. Now, Ionic's chart was a little bit different because it made a bigger move. So it was a little bit more confirming, because Ionic went from $5 all the way to 21, which was half of where it was before, right? So when I saw Ionic coming into this falling wedge here, all I was waiting for was what? This breakout of this previous high. You see that? Right above 10. When it got above 10, it is now confirmed that it's out of this falling wedge here, and it has changed direction. Now, guess what? Buyers see the same thing, and investors and technical traders see the same thing I am, and they start saying, okay, it's confirmed. I can now at least take it back up to here. So it goes from 10 to 20, double up on your money very quickly. That's a weekly chart. So in 1 month, it goes from 10 to 20. $10,000 in this particular stock went to 10,000, and you made 10,000 in 1 month, just in shares. Just in shares. So I think in 2025, like, it's cool for the options. It's cool, like, to day trade and stuff like that. But after this year, personally, there was such opportunity in just looking at the double up on equity, the double up on shares, going from $10 to this, like going from, even if the stock's $80 and you can't get 100 shares of it, it goes from 80 to 160, right? Just let's look at those types of charts. So are we with me? You with me? Okay. So there's my kind of social proof of what a falling wedge looks like. Okay. So if we go back to Rivian, I would want to set an alert. Okay. This will be a little bit of an early entry because there is support here, right? Do you see this support right around $12? Okay. And it's sitting up at 13. So yeah, there's a little bit of support here, but the confirmation would be, to me, would be break above 15. Like, give me a solid candle above 15. And I think buyers would step in a little bit more there, or their earnings would propel them all the way up here if they're good. Right. So I would just be looking for Rivian to kind of break above 15, and more of a confirming would be above, just say 20. Okay. Then I'll be looking from 20 to roughly about 30. You see these levels? It's just retesting these levels. It would go from here to testing here to testing here to then it would have to get into profitability to start testing there like that. Okay. Which is a possibility. Okay. So the automotive industry is getting beaten down. So that's just a little bit of one that I could see as an opportunity that would be a very low barrier for people to grab up some equity potentially. Obviously, not financial advice, but I could see this going to 20, right? 20 minimally. So I just want to document it here on this live stream and maybe pick up some shares if I see it above 15, and then looking at it to go to 20 and then ultimately 30, and that will be your 100% on your equity, right? If you're not really confident in the shares, or you don't want to put that much money into it, right? That's where the options chain comes in. So you can maybe say, man, this is low enough. What if Rivian kills their earnings and I can look at it maybe a June contract and see how much interest is on these June contracts here, just like I did on Ionic, and say, okay, it's worth maybe looking at 6 months out, a year out, and maybe spending 200 bucks, right? Because if I grab 100 shares of Rivian right now, it'll be $1,300 to $1,400, right? But a person could say, I got 200 bucks. Like if I could see it doubling up, going to 15 and maybe 20, right? And there's a decent amount of interest. I'm okay putting 200 bucks in there because that 200 bucks could easily double, triple. So you got 200 that can go to 500, 600, $700, right? If you're not confirming about, I don't know if I want to own this, right? Or put that much money into it, right? So that's another way to look at Rivian. Okay. So there's one. Okay. There's one. Another one here that I like is looking at some of the airlines in aerospace. So I'll look at ALK. Okay. Alaska Airlines. Now, a lot of the airlines popped. They popped in 2020. They popped all this year. Delta, right? Came out of this, let's just see, 2020 went from $26 to $60. So there's your double up on your money. Okay. Beginning of the year. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. That's 2024, which was right here. Yeah. $30 to 60. So it's still double up. So this is what I'm talking about at the beginning of the year, is finding these that you can see as, if it happens middle of the year, end of the year, whatever, if I just have $1,000 into it or $100 into it, doesn't matter your financial situation. I'm charting it and I can see it at least doubling, right? I'm just talking about equity. I'm just talking about shares. I'm not even talking about options. You can look at options as well, but yeah, there's Delta. And I do consider Delta potentially can go to 100, right? The airline industry has been popping. And if I go to United, UAL, look at that breakout, 37 to 100, right? So when I see these things that have moved already, I'm like, okay, the industry is popping. Which one is kind of like delayed? So let's look at Southwest. Okay. So this Southwest really hasn't broken out like all the others, right? They've been dealing with some changes, right? They went to a different model, right, of assigned seats and things like that. And obviously them being based in my former city, Dallas, out of Love Field Airport, they've been dealing with some delays and they've been struggling, okay? Just customer satisfaction. So I think personally, once they get themselves together, people still love Southwest, in my opinion, okay? If prices of airlines and prices of travel goes down with interest rate cuts or consumer spending or over Trump's term, I could see people traveling more, and Love could double up from 30 bucks. Okay. So I like Southwest as well, because you can see it breaking out of this consolidation, right? Downward trend, right? Change into an upward trend. So if it breaks above 40, right, that's when it truly will probably get its wheels going. Look, right, what it did here again. Went from 34 to 60. What do you think it's trying to do again once it gets itself together, right? So you can look at that one. Also ALK, Alaska Airlines, which a lot of folks is more so on the West Coast, obviously, but Alaska and United have just been going crazy. Now, this is a very clean chart to me, right? Very big move from $20 last time it broke out, $15 all the way to 100. Okay. It pulled all the way back and it was essentially 70% off. It came all the way back to 30. And it started to create these higher lows, consolidating into this big bull flag. Okay. There's the flagpole. There's this consolidation pullback, breakout. And what did it do? It broke out of this previous high, which was right here at 57 with a very big, strong candle. Okay. What do I always say, or what have you heard people say? It's like to retest previous levels. So if it broke this one at 57, maybe it pulls back to about 60, gives you another opportunity, or it goes straight to 75. If it breaks 75, where is it going? The next resistance right around 86. If it breaks 86, what is it trying to do? It's trying to retest all the way back up here, like that. Okay. So if I know that the target is trying to go to is roughly around 100, then if I can get into Alaska on some type of a pullback, so I'll go into a shorter time frame, a 4 hour, and I will try to see if I can just be a little bit patient to see if Alaska can maybe pull back to this 57, something like this. Can it fill this gap and pull back a little bit? Excuse me, red, like that. Okay. That's natural, right? You see this big breakout here and it pulls back. Now, this one was pretty drastic here. So I needed to kind of hold up this very solid level of around 55 to 57. Buyers, 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 all in this area right here. And there's a previous resistance. So this is a big, massive area, anywhere between right above 60, in my opinion. If it dips just below around 55, cool. So 55 to roughly just say 65, that $10 range. If it stays within there, I consider it still bullish and it could try to retest 100. So it would have been better to kind of get it right here. Do you see how you want to, get it on the first breakout? Because once the first breakout happens from 35 to 45, this first breakout, it's close enough, right, to that support. Now that it's gone from 35 to someone's already double up, right? So when people double up their money, there probably is some profit taking coming in. So it may like cut it in half, come back here, and then go. Does everyone see that? How this to here is a double up on your money. All right. So that's what investors are looking at. How can I double my money, potentially triple it, and then a grand slam, quadruple it, so on and so forth. So Alaska is another one. Okay. So Love and Alaska, kind of keep those on watch. Maybe put some alerts on for these levels, or just, chart them on your own charts. Okay. All right. Let's look at one last one, and then you can take a look at the quantum computing space. BA, Boeing. It's in the defense aerospace sector, which in my opinion is going to be very massive during Trump's term, just in case somehow, some way we go into war or something happens, right? The defense sector, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, those are going to be very massive. And Boeing has gotten beaten down with all that negative news. I think it was a bunch of FOMO news. They are figuring out their systems and their planes. I understand that people have their feelings about, man, every time I hear some of the news is a Boeing plane. Yeah, but like, unless it's Airbus or something, where is someone going? Boeing is one of the major players, if not the major player. So they're not going anywhere. So if I just look at Boeing, same structure, take the emotion out. It's forming higher lows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 higher lows, and starting to get buyers stepping back up to do what again? Breaking out of this falling wedge here, or just downtrend, lower highs, broken out, and it's starting to take out these previous levels. 180, where is it going from there? Right around 200. If it gets above 200, it can go very quickly, probably to fill this gap back up to 250. Right. And if somehow we go into war or something crazy, or during the next 3 to 4 years, I could definitely see Boeing doing something crazy personally. Right. So look at that monthly chart. How many buyers stepped in at Boeing? And from a technical perspective, for my technical people, that is a hammer candle right there, hammer candle, followed by a very nice bullish candle from 156 to 180. So all it's going to do is try to retest this high. It's going to work its way up, stair stepping its way up, stair stepping its way up. Who knows how long it's going to take, but it will ultimately be back up to 260 again. This looks very similar to that Tesla move. Okay. Why? Because it's been consolidating here since 2020. Right. And if we look at the first Trump term, what did the first Trump term do from 2016? Right there, Boeing. Right after Trump got out of office, obviously 2020 hit. There's Biden's term. You see, get my drift? So the defense stock sector, why quantum computing is going crazy, why people are talking about aviation, right? Joby, we called that one out. There's that rising wedge. It's going to be falling wedge right here. Broke out from $4 to $8. There's your double up. ACHR, Archer Aviation. There's the falling wedge again, right there. Another Ionic, $2 to $11. There's your Grand Slam. Where is it trying to go? Back up to 20. Is this good thus far? Put a fire emoji in the chat. This is good thus far. I'm going to be wrapping it up soon. Yep. I need to buy some more. I can look up at the open interest on SPY. Put January. It's over 100,000. What does that mean? Okay, great. I'm going to go over SPY and QQQ to wrap us up. Are we still on good? Yep. So Court, we're on the same page. I do agree. I like to make realistic targets just because, people get ahead of themselves. But yeah, I do see Rivian stepping back up as a big player back in the game. Right. So awesome. I love we're on the same page. Put a fire emoji, a 1, something. Just let me know that you're here, that this is good thus far. And I'll be wrapping up with SPY. And if you are looking at this picture right here, it's because I told the community about Abercrombie, okay, a while ago. I saw that Abercrombie got a new designer, and I went to check out the stores. I used to work in retail back in, the days, clothing retail, summer jobs and things like that. So I was very familiar with the retail sector. And when you see everyone shopping in Abercrombie now, and it's more inclusive. If you don't know, go look on TikTok and all the places, go visit Abercrombie and you'll see. Okay. And Abercrombie's stock was it goes down in history as one of the biggest turnarounds in retail ever. Okay. So ANF, you want to see their chart? Here's when I was mentioning it to everybody back here in 2023. It went from $21 now almost to $200 because of their redesign and rebrand. How powerful that is when people aren't even paying attention, but they're buying all the clothes and not even paying attention to, oh, well, why did this change? Imagine if someone bought Abercrombie stock instead of paying $90 or $100 for jeans. Wild. Okay. So I bought a little bit. My brother got some when I mentioned it back in 2023. We've got it documented in the community, but we're looking for these again, 2025. All right, let's go over SPY. SPY, QQQ, I have y'all out of here. Okay. So I always like to give deference or respect to, my fellow investors out there, or for anyone else that you may watch on these platforms. I'm not the only one, right? And that's cool. But as long as you're hearing roughly the same things, or you're starting to see the same things, I think we're all on the same page. So the first thing I saw on SPY, okay, was that we're starting to come up into this rising wedge. Same thing as the falling wedge, right? It's consolidating, and as we call it, the market breadth is starting to get a little bit exhausted. Okay. You see here that it's like okay, pushing up, pushing up, pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. And the moves in a small time span seem very massive. But on a big time frame, like a weekly or a monthly, even, it's getting very tight up in here. Okay. So this is where you want to be careful about saying, oh man, like the market's going to just keep going up and keep going up. Well, it's starting to break trend. Just like the falling wedge, do you see how it tried to go up? And again, as a reminder, the top wicks are where the candles are where sellers are more present. Okay. So big fall here. Okay. If I look at this, this is a lower high, not another higher low. Okay. If it was another higher low, this candle would be all up here. Okay. So we're now forming a slightly lower high, which is a little bit concerning. Like, is this the potential top? I personally believe so. Leading into the inauguration and maybe the first couple of weeks into January, which is why who's that? I love calling people by their names. So Court. Yeah, Court. Which is why you're seeing, oh, don't pull up here. Which is why you're seeing some maybe the put options a little bit more interest. Okay. So if I go and what she's talking about, or he, okay, I'm not sure if it's a he or she, so just Court, because I do know some male Courtneys. All right. Let's go into January 17th. And what Court is looking at is on this put side on SPY. If I go to 30 and I'm looking at the red here on the puts, okay, that is the ask price. So if I go down here and I start looking at, let's just say maybe a little bit further. Which one did you look at again? 100. Trying to see that interest on 100,000. The 490s. Yeah. 490s, 113,000. Okay. So what Court is talking about, and the same thing that I look at as well, is the open interest on an option contract gives you an idea of how many people are positioning themselves in that potential contract. So if I've got 113,000 on a 490 put, those people are essentially looking at the market taking a massive crash heading into the inauguration, right? Or just following it, excuse me. Okay. So the first week into Trump's term, okay, looking at the market pulling back pretty heavy as people are like, hey, I don't know what he's going to do yet. I want to just take some profits. I'm going to ride it as long as I can and then pull the market back. So these people are saying, I'm willing to put $20 in for a potential opportunity for the market to crash, right? Now, this is also a potential hedge. So you can't always look at it as someone trying to make money. This could be someone that has a hefty amount of shares. Why did my Alabama come out? Shares. Shares. Okay. Why my Alabama come out there? All right. Shares. And they could be trying to protect themselves. So you can use puts as a hedge. So if I have just say 100,000 shares of SPY, right? And I have a good average cost, I may buy a hefty amount of puts as a hedge to say, man, I want to protect my shares. So if the market pulls back, the puts will be up and then I can take profit and then I don't take a big of a hit in my portfolio. Does that make sense? So yes, I am very well aware that that is possible. Okay. 116 at 460, 118 at 455. So yeah, that is a very possibility for that market crash slash massive correction. You can see here that the percentage change on these pullbacks is already moving. So those are already moving, right? In January, those puts right now. So does that mean you buy some? Maybe, right? We've got to do analysis on it. So let's do a little bit of analysis and why that may happen. Can someone put in the chat, when is the inauguration? Inauguration. inauguration. Because there's gonna be a lot of changes as well. When is it? January 20th. Oh wow, you're talking about the Friday before? Oh man. we talking about a rug pull right before the inauguration? Oh wow. Okay, let's get some levels here. Let's get some levels. Okay, whenever there's a rising wedge like that, same thing as if it were inverse, like I just showed you. It's going to try to retest levels below, retest supports. So when you see 490, that sounds crazy to some people. Like, yo, you're talking about 100-point drop. Well, if I put just where the buyers are sitting, okay, right around this just say 450. Okay, do you see how long these wicks are here? And if I'm putting it at the candle closes and I try to create like a little bit of a confluence here where buyers are pretty hefty, I may look at this whole zone right here from 550. And this is just on a monthly. So this is on a higher time frame. So you see where those buyers are stacked up right there where it was forming higher lows. So if we do have a correction before the inauguration, people are looking at potentially this forming. Okay, which would be a massive crash, in my opinion, a 50-point drop. Now, Brian, has this happened before? Yeah, it has. I remember it. 2022, 2021, December 31st, we were at all-time highs at 457. January opens up. We go from 450. In the whole month, we push all the way down to 400. There's your 50-point drop in 1 month, right? So that is a possibility for it to just absolutely just open up and say, I'm dropping. Right. Again, another technical indicator that we're seeing is that look at this RSI, this relative strength index. For those that are familiar, this tells you the market breadth of we're a little bit overextended, a little bit overbought, a little bit too many cooks in the kitchen. So anytime you see an RSI indicator, and this is on a chart, this is an indicator that you can use, very simple. Anytime we get up in this caution zone here above 70, look at what we did on the chart. What happened last time? Isn't that funny right there? 2021, pull back. Well, look where we are again. All the way up in here above 70, pull back. Where did it happen again? It wasn't as drastic, but we got too high, too many cooks in the kitchen. January of 2018 went from 258, pulled all the way back to 226. A little bit too many cooks in the kitchen again, all the way up at 266, pulled all the way back to 213. You see it, you getting my drift here. So when I've been preparing all 2024 for saying I'm not seeing any buying opportunities personally other than some crypto, some trading, right? Yes, I threw out some potential opportunities on the upside. But if people are looking to get into some of the tech stocks, the things that have been running forever, dollar cost average, in my opinion, still invest into things you want to, Teslas, Nvidias, whatever. But I've been through a 2022. I've seen Meta go back to $80. I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but it is a very possibility for us to pull back and give us another opportunity. I'm not talking about a massive like whole bear market potentially, right? But it is a possibility for us to pull back potentially 50 points. Now, another thing. So I'm giving you, different things. So thank you so much, Court, for pulling that up. So hopefully that answers the question of why you're maybe seeing some interest there. Let me check the chat. We good? Wait, why I just dropped in. 20th. January 20th. Thank you. Okay, cool. We're still on the same page. So what I like to do is just give historical context, right? So when you come on my live streams, if you're new or if you're coming here from Leverage University already, or if you've watched some of my stuff, right? I'm just giving historical context. I'm not coming on here saying, man, just be prepared for a market crash, right? If If it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Okay. If something has happened before multiple times, I'm going to try to, prepare for that. I'm going to think optimistically, but I don't want to get too optimistic when signs are showing me that the market breadth is getting a little bit exhausted. Also, there's some gaps that need to be filled below, right? So that is a possibility. Again, if I come into a 4-hour time frame, what does this look like for my people that I've been teaching inside of leverage, or anyone that's been watching my videos? What is this? A head and shoulders. See that? So where does that take us? Potentially to fill this gap back to 575. We get below 575. Now we have formed tremendous lower highs, and we're coming this way, and it's going to be a slow grind down to potentially pop right back up. Right. So again, I think people have been talking about, oh man, the market's going to pull back in the bear market, and all 2024 just going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. But the higher something goes, the bigger the fall. Staircase up, elevator down, right? And that's kind of what happened in 2022. So it catches people off guard when things very similar to 2020. Here's the 2020 move. Staircase up, higher, 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 higher. Look at that. So it is coming. You can't predict it, but just be, keep your, as I say on here, keep your head on swivel. Right. That's why these massive drops haven't been, scaring me, or, if you've seen like this, like, oh my gosh, like that's minuscule to potentially what could come. You'll know it. All right. Any questions as far as we wrap up here? Right. So SPY is being pulled down by a couple of sectors, which is the finance sector. Okay. So look at all these gaps below on finance. Wells Fargo, which a lot of folks have their opinions on, so on and so forth, right? Especially if we're leaning more towards digital currency, people are trusting the banks less. It's like, man, I'm not giving you my money anymore, right? I'm not taking out a mortgage as much anymore with you because interest rates, right? I'm not getting a car loan from you because they're ridiculous right now. You get my drift? Like the banks are getting hit, right? And then also they lowered the interest rates for their savings accounts, or they've lowered their interest rates for a lot of their products, their CDs and things of that nature, because they can't offer it. So if you're not giving me enough money on my money, people are either going to keep it in cash in their bank account. They're going to invest it into learning skills. They're going to invest it into the stock market, or they're going to, guess what? Start looking at other assets, i.e. potentially crypto. You're like, yo, I can put my money over here in Bitcoin and get 10% over the weekend. Get my drift? People are getting smarter. So that's what I'm looking at when I'm looking at Bank of America pulling back pretty heavily. When I'm looking at American Express, going to get hit, in my opinion, in 2025 plus again and pulling back. JP Morgan has a gap to fill down below, looking like a head and shoulders, lower highs here. Goldman Sachs, same thing. Wells Fargo, even better, even bigger there. You get my drift. So that's what's pulling down SPY even more. If finance does not do well and it pulls back for whatever reason, okay? Healthcare is also beginning hit. So that's another sector I'm watching pretty heavily into 2025 and beyond. It's typically a very good recessionary sector. So if UNH, right? UNH got knocked down, obviously, by the unfortunate situation with the CEO, right? It's pulled back into a deep support at 500. Does it come lower, or does it pop all the way back and go back to 700 plus? Eli Lilly pulling back pretty heavily there. Merck pulling back pretty heavily there, right? AbbVie, which is one of the ones I've been looking at that's been very strong throughout this and has a gap fill above, right? Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, all sitting in support. So if we have some health crisis in the next 4 years or whatnot, is Moderna going to step back up and go all the way back up to 200 plus? Who knows, right? So keep your eye on the healthcare sector. It's been beaten down. Finance sector. Those are the things that are pulling SPY down right now. The only thing that's keeping the market up is daggone tech and AI, which I don't think is stopping, but it's very concerning. Very concerning. All right. Let me check the chat. Final thing. Final last questions from anybody. And I feel like we just ran up in November. Yeah. Yeah. We were due for a cool down. Mad Money Markets. What's going on, man? Thanks. Got a sub out of me. Court. Awesome. I'm glad. I'm so glad we're in alignment. So glad we're in alignment. So glad we're in alignment. Yeah. That's all I want. That's all I want. I don't come on here to claim I know everything. I'm just trying to give facts to where people can say, man, that makes a lot of sense. I see that too. Okay, cool. We're in collaboration. Right. So thank y'all so much. I appreciate you. Trying to think of one last thing I can give you as a final, just parting gift. All right, final parting gift. As everyone is all concerned about the semiconductor sector, pay attention to AMD. Okay, pay attention to AMD. Obviously, I would love AMD back in these lower supports to kind of confirm it a little bit more, because I would have loved for it to kind of hold this trend line here a little bit better. See that trend line, right? So AMD's really got to get back above 135 and ultimately 140 for me to kind of really be confident in it, because it just keeps getting smashed back down. But there's buyers that have been holding this 120 level up. Okay. So I like AMD a little bit lower if we have that kind of like market crash and it pulls AMD with it. But some of y'all are just like, I'm screw AMD. I'm not messing with it. Not messing with it. But just, it's been lagging. It's been lagging. So if AMD can come back closer to 100, I like it even more, because it's so volatile that, it can move, $20 in a week or whatnot. So you can see this lower high forming. It's coming into this falling wedge here, very similar. And this could be just a pretty big bull flag, very similar to this one, right? Pulling back, taking next leg up, pulling back. And if we measure that leg from this breakout to this breakout, look at that. Where does that take AMD? 250. You see that magic? It's not really magic, but there's the breakout leg. And when you look at measured legs, it typically, wherever it finds its bottom, it will measure that same leg from the breakout of the last breakout. Okay. So cool. There's my final parting gift. Thank y'all so much. So if SPY pulls back, so does Bitcoin. Yes. Yes, Court. Yes. Yeah, Luis. Awesome, man. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's one of my top videos as of late, is that Robinhood setup. So I appreciate y'all for coming on from that Robinhood setup video. If you're coming on, if you didn't hear the intro, okay, I'm definitely going to keep with this stock talk and market talk and economy talk. But I said at the very beginning, as I'm a parting gift for everybody as I close out here, that I'm a holistic life and business coach as well. Some of my clients are on here. Some people of Leverage University. There's a final parting gift. So if you use this, okay, if you want to join our Discord, you're more than welcome to just keep following and seeing if you like my teaching style. But if you check down the chat after this, I'll have it. There's a little New Year special. New Year 25, okay, is the code. Okay, New Year 25 is the code. Okay, I think it's 25% off or something like that. I put 25 of something. It's either $25 or 25%. So love to have y'all in there. But yeah, we talk about a lot more. Okay, so been doing this entrepreneurial thing for 8 years now. And primarily is the coaching consulting space. So if you hear my teaching style come out, as people have been saying I sound like a teacher, that's where it is. Okay. And the doctorate is real. All right. All right. So I was a former pharmacist. The doctorate is real. All right. So godly. I don't know how to explain myself. I always attract good people. I always attract good people. So yes, if SPY pulls back, it will pull back Bitcoin. Yes, they do follow each other. They do follow each other in some sense. Yep. So you see my market breath. I'm like preparing for like, bring it back to me. Bring me the discounts. Okay. Bring me the discounts. Oh my gosh. All right. Going once, going twice. We good. Going once, going twice. We good. Going once, going twice. We good. Thank y'all so much for tuning in for this live stream. Happy New Year to you. I look forward to seeing a lot of you inside of Leverage University. Got a lot of things coming up. I do live now in Las Vegas. So if you're ever in Las Vegas, want to link up for a coffee or you want to come to one of our meetups that we have in 2025, would love to have you there. I'll be doing some futures live trading coming soon. I do options inside of the Discord live trading. I like to say we do signals, but I'm more of a teacher. So my signals, if I don't see something solid, I do not text it. Okay. I'm thinking about the person that's busy, that's got a career, that's got kids, that's got a family, that's got other things going on. If you're late to a signal, okay, like you've seen it before, right? You're late to a signal and everyone's winning. You're like, why am I losing? Right? Tesla trying to go. Yeah. I mean, I've got Tesla trying to touch 500. I got Tesla touching 500. However, again, if that market pulls back, it's going to pull Tesla. So look out for 414 on Tesla. 414 this week and how Tesla finishes off the week. If Tesla continues to hold above 414, 415, it's going to remain bullish. If it gets back below that 414, it's going to start tumbling down to 400 very quickly. And below 400, it's coming back to 380, 370, and potentially that 350. Okay, so look out for Tesla making those $20 to $50 moves if it gets below 414. So mark that on your charts, mark that on your Robinhoods, whatever. If it gets below 414, just make sure you keep that on watch, that below 414, 415, Brian said it's coming down to 400. If it gets below 400, put another alert on that it's starting to tumble, okay? As long as it's above 414, 415, it's going to try to get back to that 500 mark, all right? Yep. Cool. All right. Peace, love, and blessings. Talk to y'all soon. See y'all inside of the Discord this week. And yeah, into the new year. Peace, love, and blessings. Bye-bye.